Ashley, good morning. How are we doing?
I have a question for you about how can I manage my emotions when I'm around my husband's ex-wife.
Uh-oh. All right, tell me about it.
Well, fortunately, their kids are in their 20s.
Okay.
Right? So we don't have to do a whole lot of togetherness. But when we do, I find myself just angry. And I recently figured out why I'm so angry, and it's because, she's just constantly making comments, belittling my husband and putting him down.
So why do you give her that kind of power to get in your soul like that?
I don't know. I don't want her there.
Is it?
I don't.
Oh, great question. Okay, so my guess is it's bigger than just comments and snide comments. My guess is that she will always be that other woman who had a relationship with your husband.
I'm sure that's a big part of it.
Does he have kids with her too?
I'm sorry?
Does he have kids with her too?
They have 3 kids together.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you and your husband been married?
A year and a half. We've been together for 5.
And how long were they married?
20 years.
20 years. So yeah, give yourself a break. You're going to have a rabid forest fire worth of jealousy burning through you for a while.
Okay.
And you are never going to be able to, or let me say it this way. She will always have 20 years worth of relationship with the guy that you love on you. Does that make sense? So if you're married to him for 20 more years, he'll have known her for 40. Right?
Right.
And that's frustrating and like, you know what I mean? And at the same time, the more you allow that to take root in your heart, you are intentionally choosing to poison your marriage.
Right.
And
that's exactly what I don't want to do.
Okay.
And I don't want it to get to me, and I don't want to feel that way when we have to be in the same room together, and I don't want to let that in.
Gotcha.
I absolutely don't.
And so here's how I handle those situations. And I wish I could give you some fancy scientific thises and that's. I'm just going to tell you how I handle it, okay?
Okay.
The first is I have worked for a decade now, and especially the last 2.5, 3 years or so, to make my default setting kindness in any situation, in any shape, form, or fashion, with whoever I'm talking to, with whoever I'm seeing, is I will not give other people my character. I will not give other people my emotions. I almost refuse. And now I know when it rockets out, when I just get fired up at somebody, and it happens. I mean, it super happens. When it does, I know it's real then. I know I'm not just being petty and I'm being a baby or whatever, right? The second thing is being honest with yourself. You chose to marry somebody who's been married to someone else for 20 years. And so this is this is almost entirely your choice to walk into this deal, right?
Right.
And so when you see her, I was going to ask you, so I won't do that to you. That would be mean. When you see her, intentionally choose to exhale and drop your shoulders down, right?
Okay.
You go first.
Yeah.
Go say, hi, how are you? And you can own the high ground here. And if she chooses to make, well, did you see Steve? Can you believe what he's wearing? He's always wearing those belts. For 20 years, he's worn those belts. When that happens, you can just smile and say, I think he looks great. And then you choose to walk away, right?
Yeah.
And not letting those things in there. And dude, when you walk away, your eyes are going to turn red and you're going to get that fire inside you know what I mean? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if you're not surprised by it, you can control it. If you are surprised by it, if your rage catches you off guard, if you're, how dare you, he's my man now, you know what I mean? All that kind of Jerry Springer stuff. If that happens, then you are outsourcing control of your thoughts and behaviors. You're outsourcing control of your emotions, and then you're subject to him, right? So just know it's going to come. What does he say about it?
You know, what's funny is, after this last time, I told him, and he said, well, I didn't hear what she said. What did she say? And so I told him. And he said, well, I didn't hear it. So I don't know if he's just learned to tune her out, after, being married to her for so long, that he just, there are other things that bother him, but those aren't it.
Do you feel secure in your marriage with him?
Absolutely.
That's awesome then. And if he's smart, if he's smart, when you say, can you believe what she said? In his brain, He's just going to be going, take a dive, man. Just take a dive. There's that old Friends episode. It's one of my favorite ever. I think Jennifer Aniston walks out and she's wearing something. She doesn't look great. And I think she asks, Joey, do I look good in this? And Chandler's just sitting next to him and he just goes, dude, take a dive, man. Just take a dive. And he's like trying to answer it. And so if your husband has any wisdom at all, when you bring up her, he's just going to be like, whoa, just go back into his shell. And why do I tell you that? Don't put him in that position, right?
I know.
Don't put him in that position. He chose you. He chose you. And he said, I am, how old is he? 40, 50?
Mid-40s. Yeah.
Okay, mid-40s. He's like, statistically speaking, I'm halfway or a little over halfway there. And I'm picking you, Ashley. I want to ride out this roller coaster with you and rest in that, right? And just give yourself some time. You've been together for a year and a half, and y'all are still newlyweds, right? You're still newlyweds. He just has a lot more baggage in the back of his covered wagon than you do. So I appreciate the call. Give yourself some grace and intentionally default to kindness. Go first in those relationships and then just smile and walk away. And for God's sakes, don't put your husband in those situations. If you just have to find someone to vent to about his ex-wife, find a friend, find a counselor, find somebody. Write a letter to the editor. I don't even know if you can do that anymore. Can you write letters to the editor anymore in a paper? I don't think so. I guess you can just get on social media and thumbs down the crap out of somebody. That'll show them. But whatever. Thank you so much for that call, Ashley. You're awesome. Y'all's marriage is going to be great. I can already tell.